It's no secret that our planet has a series of terrifying natural phenomenons that can easily end one's life. Today, we're going to show you some of the most dangerous natural phenomenons in existence. It's important to understand them, and even more important to respect them. So, here are 10 natural phenomenons that could end your life. Dust storms. Storm-borne sand affects both human health and ecosystems. A new study suggests that some of the negative effects are not in the dust particles, but rather in the bacteria that cling to them, thus traveling a long distance. Researchers have found that during a sandstorm, the concentration of bacteria and the number of bacterial species present in the atmosphere increases significantly, so people who are exposed to these storms are also exposed to the risks that such bacteria can bring. The researchers also found that some of these bacteria are resistant to antibiotics, but that, at least for now, they're in a very low concentration for such a trait to spread. Sandstorms are a meteorological phenomenon which is found in arid and semi-arid regions. It usually occurs when an atmospheric front, gusting, or other strong wind blows sand and dust on a dry surface. The particles are transported by jumping and suspension in movements that move the soil and transport it from one side to the other. Milky Sea. Milky seas, also called mareal, are a luminous phenomenon in the ocean, in which large areas of seawater appear to glow translucently. Such occurrences glow brightly enough at night to be visible from satellites orbiting Earth. Between 1915 and 1993, 235 sightings of Milky Seas were documented, most of which are concentrated in the northwestern Indian Ocean and near Indonesia. The luminescent glow is concentrated on the surface of the ocean and does not mix evenly throughout the water column. In 1985, a research vessel from the Arabian Sea took water samples during the Milky Seas. Their findings were that the effect was caused by the bacterium Vibrio harveyi. Wildfires. A wildfire is an unplanned fire that burns in a natural area, such as a forest, grassland, or prairie. Common causes include lightning and drought, but wildfires may also be the result of human negligence and arson. Wildfires can disrupt transportation, communications, power and gas services, and water supply. They also lead to a deterioration of the air quality and loss of property, crops, resources, animals, and people. They can spread to populated areas, making them a threat to humans as well as wildlife. According to a study, wildfires are responsible for killing about 339,000 people around the world annually. Notable cases of wildfires include the 1871 Peshtigo fire in the United States, which killed at least 1,700 people, and the 2009 Victorian bushfires in Australia. Ice tsunamis. This phenomenon, sometimes called an ice tsunami, is also known as an ice shove or an ice push. It happens when there's a perfect storm of factors, including fierce winds, loose ice, and a gently sloping shore, according to the European Geosciences Union. Today, we know that ice tsunamis tend to occur when three conditions are in place. The event is most common in springtime, when ice that covers large bodies of water starts to thaw, but is not yet melted. If strong winds then blow through the area, they can push the ice towards the water's edge, and winds in the Lake Erie region were indeed quite powerful, reaching hurricane-like speeds of up to 74 miles an hour. The third condition is a gently sloping shoreline. The gentler the slope, the less resistance the ice meets as it piles up and pushes inland. Foamy storm. Sea foam forms when dissolved organic matter in the ocean is churned up. Seawater contains dissolved salts, proteins, fats, dead algae, detergents, and other pollutants, and a bunch of other bits and pieces of organic and artificial matter. Sea foam is a type of foam created by the agitation of seawater, particularly when it contains higher concentrations of dissolved organic matter derived from sources such as the offshore breakdown of algal blooms. Sea foam is a global phenomenon, and it varies depending on the location and the potential influence of the marine environment. Due to its low density and persistence, the foam can be blown by strong winds from the shore to the beach inland. Human activities such as the production, transport, or spillage of petroleum products or detergents can also contribute to the formation of marine foam. Most sea foam is not harmful to humans and is often an indication of a productive ocean ecosystem. But when large, harmful algal blooms decay near shore, there is potential for impacts to human health and the environment. Avalanche. Avalanches are masses of snow, ice, and rocks that fall rapidly down a mountainside. Avalanches do occur naturally, but when you add humans into the mix, they can be deadly. Avalanches come in many shapes and sizes. Many are small slips of powdery snow that move like a shapeless mass down. Outdoor recreation enthusiasts often trigger these little sloughs, as well as several medium-sized avalanches. Disasters occur when massive patches of snow fall off a mountain slope. The mass of snow shatters like broken glass as it descends into the valley. These hazards can travel as fast as cars on a highway at up to 100 miles per hour. An avalanche can be set off spontaneously by such factors as increased precipitation or snowpack weakening, or by external means such as humans, animals, and earthquakes. Avalanches can happen in any mountain range that has an enduring snowpack. They are most frequent in winter or spring, but may occur at any time of year. Earthquake. An earthquake is a natural phenomenon characterized by the sudden release of energy accumulated in the rocks. This energy is transmitted in the form of seismic waves that cause, among other things, the movement of the ground. In 1906, Henry Reed was able to explain the mechanism of earthquakes using the theory of elastic return. When the rocks begin to be under pressure, they initially bend like a spring, resisting the force in the opposite direction. When the pressure becomes too high, the rocks give way and break at the most vulnerable point, and the rest of the bent rocks return to their original shape. The rupture zone becomes a fault, and the energy suddenly released generates an earthquake. The causes that lead to earthquakes can be natural or artificial. Strong earthquakes can destroy buildings, even entire localities, cause landslides and natural disasters. Over the centuries, earthquakes have been responsible for millions of deaths and an incalculable amount of property damage. Depending on their intensity, earthquakes can topple buildings and bridges, rupture gas pipelines and other infrastructure, and trigger landslides, tsunamis, and volcanoes, and these are primarily responsible for deaths and injuries. Very great earthquakes occur on average about once per year. Lightning strike. Lightning is a disruptive electric shock that occurs between the cloud and the ground and can be negative or positive. Lightning is accompanied by thunder. The gap between lightning observation and thunder hearing is due to the difference between the propagation speeds of the two waves, light approximately 300,000 kilometers a second and acoustics of approximately 332 meters a second. Benjamin Franklin demonstrated in 1752 with the help of a paper kite the presence of an electrical charge in storm clouds. Subsequent research has established that in thunderstorms called cumulonimbus clouds in which lightning will most likely arise, air currents unevenly distribute ice and water inside. Lightning is not only spectacular, it's dangerous. About 2,000 people are killed worldwide by lightning each year. Hundreds more survive strikes, but suffer from a variety of long-lasting symptoms, including memory loss, dizziness, weakness, numbness, and other life-altering ailments. Tornadoes. Tornadoes are violent atmospheric disturbances, small in size, with a swirling character, in the form of a narrow column that rotates very fast, or of a turned funnel that reaches ground level. Tornadoes occur when hot and cold air currents collide and create a rotating zone with low atmospheric pressure. The air in a low pressure front has a natural tendency to rise, creating a strong upward current. This current draws warm air around it from ground level, causing it to rotate faster and faster. In extreme cases, these strong air currents can reach speeds of 500 or even 800 kilometers per hour. But even if there are favorable conditions for a storm to form whirlwinds, this is not always the case. The truth is that this process is not fully understood. Recent theories suggest that tornado development is related to temperature differences. Although tornadoes occur in many parts of the world, these very destructive forces of nature occur more frequently in the United States during the spring and summer. On average, about 800 tornadoes occur annually, of which about 80 people die and 1,500 are injured. Only 31% of tornadoes are actually dangerous. Landslide. A landslide is defined as the movement of a mass of rock, debris, or earth down a slope. Landslides are a type of mass wasting, which denotes any downslope movement of soil and rock under the direct influence of gravity. Landslides occur when gravitational and other types of shear stresses within a slope exceed the shear strength of the materials that form the slope. Landslides have three major causes: geology, morphology, and human activity. Geology refers to the characteristics of the material itself. The earth or rock might be weak or fractured, or different layers may have different strengths and stiffness. Morphology refers to the structure of the earth. For example, slopes that lose their vegetation due to fire or drought are more vulnerable to landslides. Vegetation keeps the soil in place, and without the root systems of trees, shrubs, and other plants, the soil is more likely to slip. Human activity, such as agriculture and construction, can increase the risk of a landslide. Irrigation, deforestation, excavation, and water leakage are some of the common activities that can help destabilize or weaken a slope. Near populated areas, landslides present major hazards to people and property. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching. See you next time.